I normally try and tell people that it's a lot more graceful once I'm on stage and sitting. That's a lie. That's a goddamn lie. Wait, hold on. There we go. I can just do this when I talk. I never ever tried to claim to anybody that my performances go smoothly.
He's so handsome and capable, right?
Oh my goodness. Personal sound assistants? Can I hire you? All right. So obviously I have been introduced. I'm Dora Viellette. This is Spinny Winnie.
Hello,
Much like Allie, I'm going to do that quick thing where I go, hi, how many of you know my instrument? So those of you who know, this is a hurdy-gurdy. She just specifically is Spinny Winnie. And the hurdy-gurdy is really nifty. Honestly, I didn't go hard on the Renaissance component of this tonight because this is just the most alien thing you might witness. So the hurdy-gurdy is nifty. It's a string instrument where you never have to touch the strings when you play it. I'm a big fan of that because I am that bitch who has to obsessively get my nails done. You can't do that with most string instruments. So what we have here is an instrument where we have a wheel, and that wheel's gonna bow all the strings. Let's see if she's cooperating. She's a little cunty a lot of the times. So, like, no, truly, I thought I was a diva, and then I got a hurdy-gurdy, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Alright. Clearly, for once, she's like happy, and she's like, no, we're in the right kind of place, Dora. What we have on the hurdy-gurdy is a wheel bowing all of the strings, and I always say all of the strings because we have two different kinds here on the hurdy-gurdy. We have the drone strings that are on the outside. I call them the lazy ones because everybody gives them all the glory and they only play one note a piece. It's really stupid. They just sit there and they go wah, which my new favorite thing is pointing out to people that that's the same thing I hear when weird creepy men try to talk to me in bars. And then what we have really in here are the melody strings who are doing all of the hard work because they are the ones that come through this key box here. So when I press those keys on the front, I press those keys then fret for me. And I know that we're all having a good time tonight. You might not remember all of that by the end of the night. So just remember that I do this in music form, okay?
Yeah!
And yes, my parents are very proud of me. With that said, we're going to see if Winnie cooperates enough that I can actually play you a song. She has a couple of opinions. We're going to try and get 2 more songs out of her while I'm up here. Because half of what I like to do on stage actually is just talk to people. Fun fact, I am very autistic and my special interest is early music, and I devised a whole show I do at the fair called Drunk Music History. Because basically I was like, what if I trick everybody into actively wanting to listen to me info dump about my special interest? It has worked. So I'm going to give you all 2 songs that I obsessively play at every show, and now I mean literally every show. I don't have to be at the Renaissance Fair, and I'm still going to be like, all right, buckle up, we're talking history. So these are 2 songs I love. I call them my hits of the Renaissance because they were 2 very popular Renaissance songs, and hey, you know, Renaissance themed event, let's go. How many of you know Greensleeves? All right, yes. If you don't think you know it, you probably do know it. It's a song that we even like so much we turned it into a Christmas song eventually. What Child Is This? That led me one time on stage at a fair to go, yeah, that song that got 2 legs, just like Jesus. So the audience laughed and I was still invited back, so we're doing it. But the thing I actually like about Greensleeves is the rumor that comes with that song, because they have this whole rumor about how Henry VIII wrote the lyrics to it, which is categorically untrue. And they really like to say that he wrote them for his second wife, Anne Boleyn, and that is very definitively not true. And I'm going to do the thing I subject all my audiences to, where I'm like, hi, you thought you were getting hurdy-gurdy, here's a history lesson. So, once upon a time, Henry VIII was married to his very first wife, Catherine, and it seemed like the whole marriage was fine, but he was not happy. And he wasn't happy because she wasn't giving him a son, and having an heir was like a whole big-ass deal when you were king. So Henry's solution to this was to go to the Catholic Church and be like, hi, can I get an annulment? And the church was like, fuck no, your wife hasn't done anything that bad, we're not going to do it. And Henry didn't like this answer because he was like, you know, a classic white man. And he was like, excuse me, I asked for the thing I want. And they were like, no. And here's the thing, as I always tell people, I do not like when middle-aged white men flex their power just because they can. But this is one instance in which I almost have to give respect because it's so fucking extra. This man was like, okay, fuck you, Catholic Church. Made a whole new church, the Church of England, appointed himself the head of it, and then used that to annul his marriage to Catherine and Mary.
Oh wow.
Yeah, fun fact for you right there. And this is just how far some dudes are willing to go. I am like, wow, fucking floored. In the meantime, we're just not giving Henry any credit for Greensleeves. Can we all do my favorite new thing on stage, which is just making people boo Henry VIII? Great moment for me every time. The other song I do want to play for you all before my act is done is it's going to be Scarborough Fair. It's iconic, but here's the thing. When I wanted to play this song at Renaissance fairs, I needed to double, triple check that it had history because I'm a big nerd like that. And it turns out that it does in fact have Renaissance history. But the lyrics that we're all familiar with aren't the OG lyrics for it. Originally they dealt with an elf king, and the elf king wanted to take a human bride, was her way to the elf kingdom, gonna live there together forever. This is only going to be stoppable if she performs essentially an unperformable task. And she doesn't want to marry him, so she's like, fuck you, here's a list of things you have to do instead. And the whole reason for this, I always tell people, is because elves and fairies have always been very about like rules and regulations, like that's how they trick you into doing everything. I used to be a barista, and I was like, this is the best fae job ever, because all you're doing is offering somebody a drink and being like, can I get your name? So she didn't want to marry him because we also historically at this point didn't like elves and fairies. So this wasn't like some like dashing dude sweeping her off her feet. This was like a creepy dude who was kidnapping her. But I don't know about any of the rest of you, but I'm really into way too many of those goddamn fairy smut romance novels. My friends got me into them, and I'm still mad. Like I didn't mean to, but now I'm like 5 books into a series, and I'm like, how the fuck did I get here? What it means is I have a very different end goal with the whole like getting taken to an elf kingdom thing. But you know, Los Angeles is pretty great too, so I'll take being here. see me at the fair, and in the meantime, it's time to put this cranky bitch to bed.
Dora